the very I am of our being. And knowing that this is the I am of our being, knowing who we truly are, that we are none of the things that we say about ourselves other than that we are divine expressions of the one whole, perfect, complete life that is God. Knowing this to be the truth, I bless this service here today. I know that Reverend Katherine, in her speaking and delivering the message, is absolutely a magnificent vessel for Spirit to give each one of us exactly what we're here to receive. I know that as we are hearing this, the presence of God within us, divine wisdom within us, is speaking to us. And so collectively, we are catching some great wisdom here today. And so I know that in our sharing and our asking of questions and our prayer requests, that something beautiful and divine is unfolding. And for all of this, I am so grateful. I just release this and I let it be, and we establish it together with the words, and so it is. Yes. So we have a few announcements for you today. Let's see, we've got tomorrow evening from 6 to 8 p.m. we have our ecstatic dance. How many of you are going to come dance with us tomorrow? Anyone going to come dance with us tomorrow? Well, I'll see if I can convince you after the service. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Conscious Loving class started last Saturday with me at 10 a.m. and there's still an opportunity to get in because we did record it. So if you missed it, you can watch the recording and you can get in before, as long as you sign up before this Saturday. You can still get in on that class. Powerful class to really get us in being in a fully conscious relationship, not only with our partners, but also with everyone with whom we come in contact. So I would welcome you to that class. Men's Spirit Group will meet this coming Monday at 7 p.m. right here in the foyer. On Wednesday, November 27th, so 2 weeks from today, we won't have our normal Wednesday service because we'll be having a Thanksgiving Eve service, and that will be at 2 p.m. So 2 weeks from today, we'll meet at 2 p.m. for Thanksgiving Eve instead of the 11 o'clock Wednesday service. If you know Elise Carver, who, not if you know her, but you all know Elise Carver, who sings up here every Sunday, she is doing a musical Get to Know You. And if you play an instrument and would like to potentially be involved in the music program here, join Elise for a musical Get to Know You Wednesday, November 20th. So when is that? A week from today, next Wednesday. And she'll be very happy to have you join her. There's a flyer out there on the activity table. Also, we would like to send you a birthday card on your birthday. So if you will fill out the form out there at the front desk and tell us your birthday, we'll send you a birthday card. And maybe even several of us will sign it and put little personal messages to you in there as well. So let us do that with you. We love to do that. And also on that form, if you're wanting to, you can also include your emergency contact information, which I think as a practical measure is always a good thing for us to have. Mark your calendar because in December, we will be doing a meditation at 10:30 on Wednesdays. So before you come here, you could come at 10:30 instead and sit in a meditation, and then it'll go from 10:30 to 10:45, and then there'll be a 15-minute break, and we'll have our normal Wednesday service. So that'll happen on Wednesdays and Sundays. There'll be a 10:30 meditation. That means on Sundays, starting in December, the before class will start at 10 o'clock instead of 10:15, and it'll go to 10:25. Does that make sense? It's a lot of information. Doesn't make sense, Ruth? 10:30 will be meditation, and that just means that the normal before class, which happens at 10:15 now, will then start at 10 o'clock. So that way you can do both. You can have the best of all worlds. You can do the Science of Mind class from 10 to 10:25, come in here, do meditation at 10:30, and then get a 15-minute break and come to the service at 11. I hope that all makes sense. Save the date, December 19th. We're going to have our very first vegan potluck. December 19th is a Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. And this is a great way to invite our greater community in. We're going to, a great opportunity for those of you who aren't vegan to experiment a little bit with creating a vegan dish, or you don't even have to bring a dish if that's uncomfortable. You can just come because we'll have plenty of food. Not trying to convert you all to vegans, by the way, just in case anyone thinks we are. Just kind of exposing people to a plant-based diet, because there's a lot of evidence that a plant-based diet, even if it's not 100% plant-based, even if you only eat plant-based once a week, could be good for your health. So join us on December 19th. Also save the date for Friday, March 21st. This is getting way out there. But it's such an important thing because it's the installation of your senior minister, Reverend Gregory Toole. So we're going to have a good time. We're going to throw a nice little party here and have a nice ritual of formally installing me here, right? Because I'm already here, but we're going to formally install me, and you'll be involved as well. The members will be involved, the practitioners will be involved, the other ministers will be involved, the board will be involved. So we'll have a collective recognition that, that we're in a new relationship. It's kind of like a marriage, you know? It's kind of like the installation is me getting married to the church here, right? So please say I do. We invite you to bring one can every week to our food table to really support those who are in need of food. Our annual pledge campaign is underway. Pledge cards are available. And of course, this Sunday, we have our pledge potluck. How many are coming to the pledge potluck on Sunday? Excellent. That's going to be really fun. It's my first time doing it with you all. And you know, who doesn't like good food, right? So we're going to get to experience all the various ways that our members and friends prepare food. There will be vegan dishes as well, lots of non-vegan dishes, but there will be some vegan dishes as well for those of you who like that. And let's see, a big thank you for all of our wonderful Sacred Service volunteers. We couldn't do it without you, and it's beautiful the ways that people show up in this community to serve and volunteer. Thank you so much. And without further ado, I'm sure you didn't come here just to hear the announcements. I'm sure that you came here to hear the wisdom of Spirit as it speaks through Reverend Katherine McKinney. So let's give a warm, loving welcome to Reverend Katherine.
It's like another one I have, so it's okay. I don't even know why I have it there, but it's what I have. Good morning, everyone, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm always glad when you decide to come to our services on Sundays and on Wednesdays. And so today I want to share a little bit about something that has happened over the last few days. Now, for about 5 days, my family, which is Bob and Maureen and I, had been keeping our granddaughter Annie. She's 3, and she takes up all the space wherever she is. And so our whole life, my whole consciousness just about, was dedicated to, well, I've got to get ready for her to eat. She's got to go down for a nap. We have all of these different things to do. And so even if somebody sent me an email or a text, it was just almost difficult to explain why I couldn't do that right then. But then I also knew that I was speaking today. I had no idea what I was going to say, and all I could think of was Annie. So I'm not going to talk about Annie. But at the service, and I was here, and Reverend Gregory, among other things, addressed the situation that many of us feel and are in our country, and reactions and on both sides, and how all that's happening. And I was listening to that, and somewhere in the midst of what he said, and I don't even remember exactly what he said. It may have been that he said this literally, but I know it's what came to me for my talk, and it's what is mine to do. And so in the course of that, and I'm listening, because of course Reverend Gregory is addressing an entire service. He's addressing all different sorts of people and all of us collectively, individually, and in that way. And what I'm thinking of is my own situation. I didn't mean about over the last week particularly, but what is mine to do in my life in general? That's really where I was. Even as you were speaking, that's what I was thinking about, but I didn't know what that meant. This was just sort of a download at that point. And then last night, I went to choir practice. And so when I went to choir practice, we sang music. We actually had music, sheet music, with words on it. And the words are a musical setting of Emma Curtis Hopkins' my favorite quote, "Rise up, my soul." And so as I was singing in the course of this whole choir practice, we even, because the words are not exactly Emma Curtis Hopkins, and on the second page down at the bottom, it says, "Help me have the courage to know what is mine to do." And so I sort of exclaimed to all the people, "That's it! That's my inspiration! That's what I'm doing!" Because I felt like I was right where I needed to be. I still didn't quite get there in my own thinking, but I went to sleep with all of this, knowing that it was all churning around in my head. Now, Emma Curtis Hopkins, her entire, it's about 5 sentences. "Rise up, my soul, and heal the sick wherever I walk. Make people love God. Show me, quicken my heart with heavenly fervor. Show me the way, the finished kingdom, as I walk through the world. Show me the words that make people glad and sane." It chokes me up. I love those words, and I'm so looking forward to singing them on December the 8th with this choir. It's such a wonderful song, but it's also the concept behind it. And so this morning, when I sat down and actually began my morning practice, my spiritual practice, I found that what I was writing and what I was feeling were all of those things. And so I began writing perfect God, perfect creation, perfect life within me. I know that my whole expanded consciousness is embracing the life that is now. And that as I move through life, I know that Spirit is the divine consciousness within me that guides what I do. So what is mine to do? What is Emma talking to us about? She's telling us to take what we know and allow it to move through us in all the ways that we can, that filter through each one of us, so that we can say that I joyfully reveal and I joyfully reveal that consciousness within me of abundance, of sharing, of loving, of kindness. And I allow myself to move through this wonderful space, remembering who I am. I grow in understanding as me expressing the divine. The intelligence that operates in my mind is always perfectly coordinated with my mind and body by the divine Spirit who knows me and knows exactly what I need. Whatever has happened in the past has no power over me. My power is here now, in this moment. Any regrets or disappointments that I have are transformed into the divine and amazing yet to be. And I allow myself to be open to all of the possibilities that are presented to me. Again, Spirit knows my mind and body and crafts all of these things just for me. I take time to express my appreciation to others, to be grateful for what others do, and to feel that gratitude and express that, because that activity is the engine of creativity that brings more good back to me. That is how we transform whatever it is we're feeling into that wonderful good and reward. My life is always on the move. I am always expanding. And I remember that in the 20th century, scientists, cosmologists, astronomers did any number of probes out into space, did lots of figuring, and they came up with this marvelous revelation that the universe is expanding. And of course, the ancients, going back just watching the stars, sitting on a hillside, understood that we are always expanding. But science had to catch up with the facts of that and how that all works. And so in that notion that I am that transformation. And again, going back to where I was on Sunday, I wanted to recognize how it applies to me in my situation, my own regrets and disappointments. I know some of the times I have spoken, I think even on Sunday, but on Wednesday at different times, and this would be even before Reverend Gregory got here, I had a huge disappointment, regret, in January of this year. And it had to do with my kitchen. I was gobsmacked. Now, yes, my contractor made mistakes. He absolutely made mistakes. He mismeasured, he did some things. But I knew, even as I was feeling the outrage and absolutely expressing it, even then, I recognized this as an opportunity. I say all the time and believe, as Deepak Chopra has said, you get the whispers, you may get a nudge, but if you don't listen, you get the kick out the window. I knew all of that, but I had to feel what I felt. And so I allowed myself to do that, knowing I would find my way back. But I realized I couldn't make it come back. And so I'm sharing that because many of us can be in the same places. We feel what we feel, but we can also know what we know, which is that God is always in charge. There is nothing that's ever wrong or really right, except that it's all right. And once it's happened, it's happened. And so, as I said, the past has no power over me. I live in this present moment, and I may plan for moments to come, but I live in this present moment. And so in all of that time, and that was January, and so a lot of events and things have conspired before we really got it fixed. He did some things right away, but for the most part, I was just on the pause button. Because I knew not only did I not have physical time for it, I also knew that I wasn't ready. There's some part of me that wouldn't have allowed the physical time, because that's the way it works, isn't it? Because I wasn't ready. And then a few weeks ago, I had been thinking, I'd been imagining how it could be, and I was ready. And I called him, and he's actually going to do it next week. And I am ready. And what I am knowing is that it's going to be perfect, and I'm already there, and I'm going to allow that to be. But the idea that we are going to go through life without disappointments is probably foolish. We're human beings, and we are attached to the relative in ways we cannot even imagine. In our book reading group this morning, the quantum healing, we were actually talking about, and I think the reading today began with, what you see is what you are. That's what the rishis, the ancient sages of India, thought. What you see is what you are. Now, we talk about that a good bit in Science of Mind and in New Thought in general, that because I'm seeing you as you are now, but if Reverend Gregory came up here and stood, he wouldn't see exactly the same thing. And why is that? It's because each of us have a unique perspective. He may notice someone different. He may think something different with what he notices, because we always, what we see, we're not stenographers. We are not videographers. What we see goes through our intelligence, and what we report is really what we think about what we see. And in some of the experiments that were shared in the reading, what we think is what we sense in other ways, not just in sight. We can be induced to those feelings based on other senses, not just hearing, but even smell. We are influenced, and it moves through our intelligence and all of those things, and this is what we report like it is the truth, and that's the way it is. It would be so useful for all of us, and I know Dr. Moira has said this many times. Don't believe what you think. Take it with a grain of salt. And so all of that figures into how I know what is mine to do. And there are times when you are clear about what you're doing. I mean, like we're having pledge dinner, we're making food, but along the way, there are other things. And I had such a wonderful reminder this morning. I was putzing around in the kitchen getting ready for Maureen to leave. She leaves early. I get up around 5, and so it was probably about 5:15. And I went to warm something up in the microwave, and I opened the door. It was really messy in there. Something had spattered all over. Well, I stopped what I was doing, and I cleaned the microwave. If I had really thought about it, because, I don't have time to do that, because I have this other thing to do, and then I've got this talk today, and then I've emails to answer, all that, but I didn't. I cleaned the microwave. And so as I was putting it back together, I remember this wonderful passage where Jesus is questioned by the Pharisees about healing the man with the shriveled hand on the Sabbath. He broke the law, and he was questioned. And Jesus answered with a question. He said, would you have me ignore the suffering? And he said it more elaborately than that. And then he said, my Father, which is in heaven, is always working, and I am always working, and I will relieve suffering wherever I find it. Well, the microwave is not suffering. I'm just saying that there are times when we just do what needs to be done. What is mine to do may shift. It doesn't mean that I have tunnel vision. It means that I can be busy doing something, but if somebody needs something over here, I can stop. And I can be that way. I can do what needs to be done. So what is mine to do is not necessarily individually what each of you do, but I know it's your consciousness, your experience, your relationship with life that helps you to establish that. And we're always learning and growing. We're always expanding, just like the universe. So what is mine to do today is going to be different tomorrow and different another day. I allow myself to be open to what is mine to do. And so in all of that thinking, I recognize the activities that are before me. We have meetings. We have food to prepare. We have Sunday service. And we have this wonderful pledge potluck. And I am so excited to have all of us come together and break bread together, even though we're doing it in little groups of people. You know, my tables have a little group. We're like a big family dinner. And over here is another family dinner. And there are several all over the room. But the happy sounds that come from this are so wonderful. It's an incredibly joyous thing that we do. And so I invite any of you to at least consider signing up for this pledge dinner. Someone's will bring you to their table. That's the way it works. It's open-ended. We try to never say no to anyone. We'd like to know ahead of time, so you have a plate at the table, for example, but not that you have to. As Gregory says, you don't have to do anything. You'll be invited to, but you are welcome. And yes, we're going to celebrate the harvesting of our pledges, because that's the idea behind this. We've gone through a pledge season. People have filled out pledge cards. We'll have some on the tables if you have yet to do that. But the idea is that we're bringing in the sheaves, if you know that song, bringing in the sheaves. And we are celebrating that harvest. Because our center is a divine idea in the mind of God. It is sat on Nob Hill now for 77 years. Actually, not on this hill, but in Redondo. It's been here a little bit less, but it's been in Redondo 77 years, transforming lives, make people love God, and healing the sick wherever we go. That's what has happened with this community. And the faces change, the energies change, but we have that continuity of that energy. Somebody understood what is mine to do. They understood. And so we have people here now that still understand what is mine to do. And so in closing, I simply want to say for myself and for anyone who wants to be included, that I'm incredibly grateful to have the joy of transformation that is brought into my life, to have the stimulus to move, that I understand, that I recognize is for my own understanding, whatever it is I need to do, and I allow myself to be guided. I am grateful for that, and what I know and depend on is that the creative mind of God that I use, that is within me, is always perfectly aligned with the unique expression of God that I am, and I also know that I do reveal that divine expression with every step I take. I allow that to be in perfect, perfect harmony with life as I release and know, and so it is. So this is the point where we invite those of you who are looking for prayer treatment to do that, or maybe comments about, oh yes, we're going to do our offering. Sorry, I know it's important. I've just talked about it, didn't I? So I invite you to put, even if you pledge online and whatever you do, put your symbolic or your real pledge between your hands as you say, divine love consecrates my gift it, to, to bless and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you for your gifts. And understand that, I was raised in the Methodist Church, and we give with our time, our talent, our gifts, and our service. And so I know many in this room do all of those things. Any comments that anyone wants to make? You're ready to transform, I can tell. Yes, Miss Beverly. Oh, and Mr. Vincent is bringing you the magic microphone.
Okay. It's short and sweet, and blessings. Most people in this church has been on my journey of health, and I got last week from my doctor a clean bill of health.
Oh my
Yay, Bev. Yay, everything.
I
And
give
then
you a
I just have
standing
question.
Miss Beverly.
Thank you. And thank you for encouraging the sharing. I just have a question of Reverend Gregory. Are we doing the grieving this evening at 5?
Yes, thank you. I did not announce that, did I?
Yes, because I'm planning on being here, because on my journey has been death and life and adventure and lions and tigers and bears. Anyway, I'm so grateful, and thank you so much.
Anyone else? Well, maybe that's just enough. And so if no one else has anything, let's just know that all is well. Have a great holiday. Have a great pledge potluck. Have a great work. Have a great ecstatic dance. Have great everything that unfolds. We're so busy, aren't we? There's lots of things to unfold. Thank you very much for being here.